The message from this White House and from the DHS is that those people who are in this country and pose a threat to our public safety or have committed a crime will be the first to go, and we will be aggressively making sure that that occurs. Remember, everybody who is here illegally is subject to removal at any time. That is consistent with every country, not just ours. If you're in this country in an illegal manner, that obviously that there's a provision that could ensure that you be removed.
So, Mark, you have said this is the biggest disconnect between red state America and blue state America. I agree. My only caveat to that is I think there are a lot of people in blue state America that also think, wait, they're here illegally. What's wrong with the government deporting them? I know that's not popular in this area code.
Yeah, or in most of the media.
Or in most of the media. But most, I'll be the first to admit, sanctuary cities, what? I remember they had during the first Gulf War, I think San Francisco said it was a sanctuary city, that if you wanted to be a draft dodger, you could go, not that we even had a draft, but or if you wanted to desert, right. There was some outrageous thing. You could go to San Francisco and they wouldn't prosecute you. I'm like, what? Wait, no, that's kind of up to the federal government. So I think this is an issue that the media, I think this is like abortion. This is an issue that the media has a complete blind spot on, where most Americans are.
I agree 100%, and I'm not necessarily the biggest gap, but it's as big as any other gap.
Because, as abortion, let's say.
Yeah, you go to any part of the country that voted for Donald Trump, and their view of, I say, tell me the story of how immigration's affected the United States, and they'll focus mostly on the negative: crowded schools, people with driver's licenses, hospital costs, their neighborhoods changing, and a belief that Donald Trump has that you can't be a country if you can't control your border. Right. Go to blue America, and they'll say, this is going to hurt families, this is going to hurt children, this is going to keep us from having the workforce we need. There's truth in both sides.
Well, and I think that's where the media lies.
Yeah, well, the media lies 100% there.
I even saw our own network, interviewing a family and a child that was going to be hurt, and they were breaking the law.
Yeah. And
it's very hard.
There needs to be extraordinary scrutiny over how this is implemented. But the notion of trying to control our borders, enforce the law, change the way we treat people, try to reduce the incentives for people coming here illegally, that's what Trump ran on more than anything else.
And the thing is, both sides, and you're a local reporter.
Yeah.
Mika, go out and find a kid who's been hurt. You can go out there. Hey, Mika, go out and find somebody who lost their job because of an illegal immigrant on the other side. Find somebody whose child was beaten up in school by an illegal immigrant. But here's the hypocrisy. Is the same conservatives that are freaked out in red state America, I can tell you in Pensacola, Florida, when we had Hurricane Ivan, I think it was in 2005, and you couldn't get insurance companies to move fast enough to fix your home, guess who went up on the roofs without workers' comp and fixed those homes? By the way, in red state America, in blue state America, in all of America. That is the rank horse you-know-what.
Okay.
No, it's just outrageous that we have an economy, let's face it, we have an economy that is built on illegal immigration. Some parts of it, Mika, we have an economy that's built on that. So that's why I would say, why don't you just legalize it? But there's such a blind spot there.
And
I totally agree.
And what's going to be interesting to see what happens is that Obama only deported, as you know, those who committed serious crimes. Trump has basically said anyone who's committed any crime can be deported, including that means showing up and getting a job, fixing your roof, and saying, I'm legal. And so the interesting thing, you hear some anecdotal evidence this may already be happening, is illegals afraid to go out and work because that then constitutes committing a crime.
But for most Americans would cut you off and say, not most, but the majority of Americans say, but Steve, they're illegal. The first act they took when they came to America was illegal. They broke the law coming into this country. Yeah. And why the media can't figure that out is because I guarantee
there's a very human side
the majority. I know there's a human side, but all we hear are those sides of the story. Go out and find somebody who's hurt by us enforcing our laws. Go out and find somebody. And so then we can't even talk about that side of it. And then everybody's shocked when Donald Trump
Goes to Arizona and
goes to
talks
Arizona,
about the
and there are
crime
thousands and thousands of people there because nobody in the media
But the
talks about it.
onus on him now is to explain how he's going to pay for it.
Well, that's it.
And how's he going to deal with the disruptions in the economy if people are afraid to come out and work, or if people are actually deported who've done a lot of the work in this country over the last
Look,
several
part of the roots of this great country of ours are planted in generosity, compassion,
Right.
open arms, open doors. Come here, bring your poor, you're tired, whatever. Okay. Part of the
and
roots.
most Americans would say, yes, come here legally. Why should there be somebody in Pakistan
absolutely.
that's been trying to come here for 15
There's
years
no
to
doubt.
be with their family when somebody comes in here illegally?
There is no doubt. But this story.
Oh, I would be shocked if a Syrian refugee could get here in less than 2 years. I'm telling you, when I was in Congress, the hardest thing to do, and this was 10, 15 years ago, was getting somebody from across the world connected with their family here, whether it was from Pakistan. I keep saying Pakistan because there was one case that I worked on forever. A guy just wanted to be with his family, for God's sake. And he was trying to do it legally, and he busted his ass for years. And then somebody walks across the border and is here, and everybody say, oh, we've got to be compassionate to that person. What about everybody across the globe who's trying to do it legally? The great lie to all of this is the economic lie. This country right now, which is $20 trillion in debt, can afford to deport 300 to 400,000 people a year. Another lie is the fact that Barack Obama was lax in this. Obama deported more people than anybody ever. He was called the deporter-in-chief.
And put resources on the border, too.
And I'm telling you, for conservatives and Republicans, understand this. He pushed the boundaries in many cases. If we want to do more, Mika, we're going to have to pay a lot more. Just like if you want to replace Affordable Care Act and keep the promises Donald Trump made, get your checkbook out.
There was a great story in the Times about California farmers who voted for Trump and were very excited about him, but are now terrified that if he continues, if he deports people, that their workers are going to be gone. So this idea is that it's really nuanced.
You know, that is the case. Is I think we in the media need to be fair on both sides, saying yes, a lot of people that are here illegally should not be here, and if they commit crimes, especially if they defraud the government, they should go home. But we have to be honest about the fact that our economy in red state and blue state America
up on the roof.
Is run up on the roof. Up on the roof, working without workers' comp, working without benefits, working without anything. But guess what? They can stop your house from leaking tomorrow, or you can wait 4 months for the good hands people to come and bring their contract. It doesn't happen. Look at this. I want to show you this. I want to show you this poll that just came out last night on immigration impact on America. Helps more than it hurts. 58%. Guess what? You know the people who believe that. It's a very limited number of people. It's only people who use computers. It's only people who actually use the internet. It's only people who actually look at Silicon Valley and like Intel,
have to go to break.
or like computer
But you're
chips.
right. Let's go.
They're all immigrants.
Okay.
Hold on. No, this point needs to be made.
I think you're making it.
They're all immigrants. Silicon Valley, it's not fueled by guys like me.
No.
It is fueled by guys like me being bossed around by people, by immigrants.